everyone, Rex here. Welcome back to the channel Rex Tactics. Today we're going to be learning how to make a scenario on Train Sim 6. So without further ado, let's get into the video. We are going to go to Creators Club, click on that, and we're going to go all the way down to Scenario Planner. Here we'll be met with all the routes that we can create scenarios on. As you can tell, I've been very busy creating some scenarios that one of these days I will release for people to play. But for now we're going to be going on the West Coast Main Line Preston to Carlisle route because this is a nice one to actually create scenarios on. As you can tell on this, I have quite a few scenarios, but we're going to be walking through this step by step so that you guys can understand how to make some scenarios on Train Sim World. So what you'll be met with is a blank page. You won't see any of these unless you've tried in the past, and you want to press the Create New button. So we'll do that. Here you'll be met with this pop-up which says Create New, edit various details about your scenario. So you'll have enter name for the scenario, the description, start time. We'll get to enable off the rails in a moment and the edit weather. But for now, we just want to name the scenario. So call it anything. You can call it Trains. Oh, there we go. And for your description, you can just put in something like, they are fast. There we go, they are fast. So the start time defines when your scenario starts. So your scenario doesn't have to start at 12 PM. What you want to do is, if you're on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, hold the options button and press the left directional arrow or the right directional arrow to change the time. Additionally, if you want to get to specific times, you can remove from the options and press the directional arrows to change it to 5, 10, 15 or 20. You can't put in accurately specific times, so if you're creating scenarios from, let's say, real-time trains, try and amend it as best as you possibly can. If you're finding it a little bit difficult, try an easier time period. So what we want to do is we want to set this for 8:25, and we want to enable off the rails because we want to put on different trains. If you want to only use the trains that this route comes with, you untick this. We're going to tick this. So when we get into edit weather, going to come into a new pop-up, which you'd normally see, when starting a timetabled service. And this basically means you can set the weather for the day. So we want to put this in January, but we want a specific day. So you hold the options button again on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, and you can change the specific day. Obviously, as we go along, the temperature will slightly change the warmer or colder it gets. The day that we want to have this is the 26th because this is the time of recording. Let go of that. And if you want to change it in month, just easily press the directional arrows and they will change the months for you. You can also change from dynamic weather to custom weather and back again. We will have it on dynamic weather because why not? And down here you can change from clear to foggy, to light clouds, to lightning storm, to light snow, sometimes light rain, snowstorm or rainstorm. Sometimes you can get a rain shower, sometimes you can get mist, just depending on the month that you're in. What we're going to put this in is some light clouds and press confirm. You must press confirm, otherwise your weather preset will not save. So press confirm that. Of course, the same thing with all these details. You must press confirm for it to save. Once you press confirm, you'll be met with this screen. This screen is where you can add any service that you like, and your service limit is up to 20. You cannot make any more than 20 services per route, per scenario basically. So what we want to do is we want to add our first service. So on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, you can see this video is kind of tailored to PS4 and PS5 users. You want to press square to add your first service. You will have this pop up here. So we're going to put in 1 Oscar 08 as our sort of service. And say, for example, the service is going from Preston to Lancashire. So we'll put in PRE, which is Preston's shorthand code, to LAN, which is Lancaster's shorthand code. You don't have to do this. You can call it anything that you like. We're obviously going to put this in as Northern Trends. So Northern Trends is just NT or NTR, whichever one you want. Click Done. Then you also want to set the starting time. So you could start it on the same time that the scenario starts, or you could move the time by pressing the directional arrows to start 5, 10, or even 15 minutes later to add in some traffic depth if you wanted. Obviously, to change the arrow, press the options and press the directional arrow. That moves the hour. What we want to do is we want to set this for 0830. Now, this is crucial information because if you're driving this service, you must have this ticked. If you are not driving this service and it is an AI-controlled service, you must untick it. Because we'll be driving one Oscar 08, we tick this. This is a little bit more technical if you want your train to stop at locations rather than have go vias, you will have it set to passenger. Whereas if you want it to be a freight train and just have go vias, set it to freight. Our service today is going to be passenger, so we're going to do it that way. You must press confirm to save your details. So we're now met with this page. Same thing as we did last time, we're going to press square, but this time we're going to add a path. Adding a path is crucial. The path basically tells the train where to go from A to B, sometimes from B to C and from C to D and so on and so forth. If you've got older routes, they can only go from A to B, basically like Tees Valley Line, for example. We've got this route as an example today because we can actually go from A to B to C to D to E to F to G, essentially speaking. And you could be spending hours going between Preston and Carlisle and back if you wanted. So, let's go through that, and we want to go to Preston. Sometimes, if you want to make it easy, you can just search up Preston like this, and it'll come up with all the options for Preston. So you have Preston's Goods Loop, Preston Parcel Platform 1, Preston Platform 1, 2, 6, including 4C and 3C. So let's say we want to go from Preston Platform 3. Good choice, because we actually get the options to go to Carlisle Platform 1 via Lancaster, Carlisle Platform 3 via Lancaster, Carlisle Platform 1 avoiding Lancaster, so when you choose this path, this train actually goes on the fast lines going through Lancaster, same with this one, or you can go to Carnforth via Lancaster or avoiding Lancaster. Now, Preston Platform 3 going towards Blackpool, you can set that, but as soon as you spawn in, you'll be asked to leave the train. So you want to save this for more AI services rather than a driver one, because we can't go to Blackpool on this one. If you want Blackpool branches, though, you can definitely go to Blackpool, and you'll have more Blackpool branches options rather than Overshot options. So let's say we just want to put on the Carnforth path, because, well, this train's going to go off to Carnforth. But we're stopping at Lancaster. We'll put in Lancaster Platform 3. And what I'm doing here, if I just go back for you, is I'm pressing this with the X button and I'm pressing Lancaster Platform 3. And to confirm my destination, I am pressing the options button. And then I confirm the service again. Here we are met with the trains. So I've got quite a few trains here to choose from. Because we're having Northern Trains, let's put in a 323. So, where is our jolly good old 323? There it is. And you can put in a Northern Trains 3-car empty. If you have liveries, you'll be met with this, and you just basically put in the liveries. Bearing in mind, you don't want to put in too many liveries because they will crash or lag out the game. Especially if it's over a very different trains, because they generate lag and thus the game crashes. So if you want to have multiple liveries, put it on a singular train that is consistent around the route. The game knows what to load, and it's easier for it to load because as soon as it loads the first one, it loads the second one a little easier, then the third one a little easier, then so on and so forth. So we're just going to put it in default livery. To confirm that, press the options button to confirm the selection. There we have Preston to Lancaster. Now, if you wanted to go a bit further from Lancaster, all you do is you hover over the option and you press square to add. There you'll have the various things or places you can go to from that destination. Sometimes you'll have more than one option, sometimes you'll only have one option, or you might be met with no options. Sometimes that happens, especially if you go from, let's say, Leeds to Manchester on a terminating platform and you can't go back. There's a reason why you can't go back, because it's an A to B only path. These paths are A to B to C to D and so on and so forth. So we want to go to Carnforth. We've come from Preston platform 3 and we just confirm it like we did previously with the options button. And again. Now, this part is interesting because you can actually make the train go off into portals. Obviously, you have to leave the train, but the train can go off to portals. So what we do is we add, and it goes off to Barrow or Cecil. Now, these are portals. They don't say they are portals, but they are. So this train is going off to Cecil for Leeds, and it says portal to Settle Junction. To confirm, you press it and press the options button. And again, and then this just disappears off the map. Perfect. And that is the first service done. Once you press back, it saves everything, and that is done. And there you can see we are 1 Oscar 08, Preston to Lancaster, Northern Trains Class 323, 3-car empty, and there's a driver with a driver's hat. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and set up to Papa or 3. For Preston to Ormskirk, basically, this is going to be a shuttle service. Preston to OMS, which is Ormskirk. And what we want to do is we want to put in Northern Trains. We can set that for 0825. And because this is an AI-only service, we're going to untick this. It's a passenger service, so we leave that, and we press confirm. Now, we search for Preston again, like we did previously. And we put in Preston platform 3C, because they go off to Ormskirk. Now, we have options here. We have Farrington up slow, Farringdon up fast, Bamber Bridge up, or Ormskirk. These are all portals on this route. We want Ormskirk, so we're going to choose the bottom one, and we're going to confirm that using the options button. Then, of course, we're going to bring in the class 150/2 to mimic a 156, because they usually do get 156s, or 150s, depending. We're going to put in an empty. Going to put in a Northern Trains 150/2, press confirm on that, and then that is it done. Now, you can actually bring this service back to Preston platform 4C, and then you can bring it off to another destination, or bring it back and then go off to Blackpool, and so on and so forth. There is so much you can do with this route, but that service is now done. See how this is different? It's got 2 Papa or 3, Preston to Ormskirk, Northern Trains. Transport for Wales times 2 car, class 150/2 empty, but the AI service does not have the driver symbol, whereas the one that we are driving has the driver symbol. This is crucial because you want to have the service that you're driving having the driver's symbol, otherwise the scenario will not work. As you gradually go about, start creating more services. So we'll put in a freight service for Foxtrot 08, and just doing all the stuff for it and putting in, say, like, for example, Farrington down slow into Preston platform 5. Then you want to put in, like, say, for example, 37 if you wanted, carrying HEA hoppers, and then for it to go off to Carnforth platform 2, avoiding Lancaster. There you can do that, set it off to Barrow, and it's done. And the more you get used to this, the more you start following this carefully and setting it up together, the better you will get at making these scenarios. Now, you can make complex scenarios, you just got to remember where the services are going from, where they're going to. This actually helps you because when we go into edit timetable and we edit in here, this lets you know how long your train will be, and the greyed out areas are the places that your train cannot go because of how long the train is. Also, as well, you will have greyed out areas of where your previous set trains will be. As you can see, Preston Platform 3 and 3C has 1 Oscar 08 and 2 Papa 03. They will show that there, so you know those platforms are where those trains will start. What they don't show is where the train's going to. Now you'll have to go back and forth, just to make sure that they're not going to the same platforms, or you'll have blockages on the line, which you don't really want, and which is why I like the portals. But as things go on and as time goes on, you'll have a fully created scenario. All you got to do to save the scenario is to press back. If you want to edit the scenario details, you press the options button, which is scenario details, and you just put in a scenario details. If you want to add in extra information like good morning driver, you'll be driving this to there, good luck type of thing, you can do. This is usually what I do. And you save it. There you will find the scenario down here. Now to play it, click the X button on there and press play. This will then load you into your scenario. Now we'll just wait for a little bit for this to load. Won't take too long because there's only 3 trains on this. And once it loads up, you'll be met with a 323 in Preston. And here you go. Trains, they are fast. Let's get started. And we're here. In the Northern Trains 323. In Preston. In your own scenario. And coming from the portal, we should have a freight service come through. Maybe. Of course it is empty now, but the more trains you add in going to and from, the better it will be. I'm going to stop this here and then load into a scenario that I have made that is around Preston. I'll see you all in a moment. And here we go, you join me with my more recent scenario called Modern Overshap on West Coast Main Line Overshap. This is a more detailed scenario, it's got everything on it like good morning, it's a wet and windy day with some delays causing chaos and all that lot. And we have a total of 20 services on Shap. So let's see how busy Carlisle Station can get. Let's have a look. Okay, so we got a 155 over there acting as a 156. Isn't that cool? We've actually got quite a few services that will be coming into here. Not just this train, but coming from here, as you can see some yellow lights. We'll have a train coming from the portal down this way. We'll also have a Pendolino behind us and a 158 for terminating at Carlisle. But we are here with an 802 in TPE livery. So this just proves what you can do with Scenario Planner. I really hope that this video has helped some people make scenarios on Train Sim World. If you enjoyed or you found it helpful, please leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, see you all later.